today's topic will be affirmations. As I said, I'm a couple of minutes late because I wanted to give you something in this Q&A because affirmations, I hope you know what it is. If not, let me know in the comments below. Affirmations is something that I have used by accident a couple of years ago and then later consciously because I started to realize in hindsight that affirmations did a lot of good for me and hopefully they may help you too. So what is an affirmation? Affirmations are positive. I use them as a positive thing, a positive way of wording things that will hopefully influence your subconscious, and this in turn will influence your thoughts, and this in turn will influence your behavior in a positive way. So affirmations are you speaking to yourself with the words that you need to hear. And, and that is in itself something that is so important, because what we habitually do, my hair is a bit wild, what we habitually do is speaking to ourselves anyway. Most of us are talking to ourselves, even though we don't realize it, all day, every day, sometimes even at night. And the things we tend to say to ourselves are not always the most positive things or the most productive things or the most healthy things. We carry a lot of our history into our bodies and minds. Like old injuries, if you have, for instance, if you fall on your shoulder, you break it or you hurt it, the muscles around this joint tense up to protect it, so to keep you from hurting yourself further or to give it time to heal. Hi, hello. And this same thing, the injury protection, can happen in your mind. If something happens to you and you're scared, traumatized, or maybe something in between, it doesn't have to be dramatic, it can be something small, or you were sure of something and something makes you question it, this can get stuck in your mind just as a muscle tension from an old injury can linger. So thoughts can linger in your mind and you may not even know it. And that is what affirmations can be good for. They can balance out the self-talk that is happening that is maybe less healthy or not what you want it to be. So it serves in two ways. One, it gives you something positive to think about. And two, it counteracts the less positive thoughts because it makes you conscious of them. Hi, Gary. Hello. Hi, Helene. Welcome. So we have some people. And affirmations are good for your mental health. And your mental health and physical health are interconnected. So it can even make you feel more relaxed, more strong, more flexible. It's all connected, mind and body. It's not separate. Because imagine, if you are sad, you are less strong. If you feel proud, you have more confidence, your skill level goes up. And that's something they've proven this in sports. They use it. They pump up their athletes. They tell them they are amazing and then they can do more. Yes, so it is something that's actually used. Hi, Fiona. In sports, and that's something that that makes the sports managers money. So they invest in this and they make sports people talk to themselves in a positive way. If they cannot reinforce them from outside, you can do this yourself. And this is free. That's something that's useful, powerful, and free. Hi, Fiona. So, yes, many people I know use affirmations, but for me, this was something I discovered very late in life. So I'm interested to know, do you use affirmations? Let me know in the comments if yes. If no, not to worry, I will tell you all about my experience, but I also want to know, what were your experiences with affirmations? Do you use them, yes or no? If yes, how do you use them? Was it written? Was it something physical? Or was it just in the mind as like a mantra when you're meditating, if you do that? And what has it done for you? So do you do it? How did you do it? And what did it do for you? Let me know. Let me know in the comments so I can read it after. So why affirmations? This is something I think that is underneath all the cross-training, all the skill building. is your state of mind, your state of body. And your state of body, you can work on that. You can, as I said last week, hydrate, give yourself sleep, give yourself a good environment, people-wise, but also input-wise. And also, the second part of this story is give yourself a safe and healthy environment from the inside out. And if this environment is a bit compromised, which for most people is, like our posture, it carries our life, also our mind carries our life. Yes, mostly written. Written, they can be super powerful, just the act of writing something out. That's why journaling also is something that really does something. It's like workout, power training for the mind. So writing, yes. Writing and thinking, focusing on good things is like power training for the mind. Remember that, write that down, because it's true. Your body changes if you give it positive input. Yes, if you give it water, if you give it sleep, if you give it a little bit of challenge and then rest, it changes. If you give it ranges of motion that it hasn't used, it changes. So there's a lot of power in little things, but we never take the time for it. Or I used to never take the time for it. And doing it, even just a little, it's mind-blowing how much effect it has. Affirmations, as well as meditation, which is interconnected, focusing the mind and thinking or feeling those things that you want to feel, that are truly you. Getting rid of all the external output, getting rid of the injuries, healing, and getting back to what is on the inside, what was originally there. Yes, your potential will expand if you get rid of all the external handbrakes that we put on ourselves, that we carry with us like a big backpack if we're not conscious of it. So once you know it, that already starts to change it. Like posture, like something we did in Boost just this week. We changed how we placed our feet. I think that was Monday or Tuesday, both. We changed how we placed our feet a little bit. Then we did a known movement, like a hip slide, but that little change worked its way up, and people started telling me a few days after that they were sore in strange places and that they had different balance and felt more grounded. So that's a little tweak in movement. And imagine what it can do in the mind. A little tweak in your thoughts can have a cascade effect and make you think more good thoughts. And this can make you really speak differently. And if you speak differently, you hear differently. It can make you write differently, so you read differently. It's like a positive feedback loop. And that in turn, it maybe not will happen immediately, but over time, this compounds, this adds up, and it will influence your thoughts and behavior. And as we all know, but maybe not deeply enough, how we behave changes the world around us. Yes, we have more power than people want us to know. If you are people, with people I mean media. Yeah, even though this is media, I'm doing my best to put positive stuff out here in media, social media, other media, in order to balance out the world a bit, give us a bit of a positive and safe place to think about these things that really actually are important and powerful, and they can change things for the better. Yes, so different ways you can use affirmations. So what it is, it's a positive sentence or word or paragraph, whatever. It's a positive way of speaking, which you can write down or think or say. I think those are the three. You cannot smell it. You maybe can feel it. But putting it in words, that's using the power of words for good. Yes, you can do a lot of harm with words, but you can also do a lot of good with words. Think about this as an example. Think back to a moment where you were small and someone said something that really stayed with you. This can be like a little compliment from a stranger, or a family member who noticed something positive about something you were doing, or maybe someone who inspired you, or someone who encouraged you in a gentle way. And I myself am very lucky that there were a few teachers, arts teachers, who gave me a tiny bit of encouragement just when I needed it. It was like a seed that opened up possibilities in my mind, and that's why I now I'm not afraid to be creative. I felt safe to be it, but that was thanks to, maybe they don't even know how much they did for me, but thanks to a little word from a teacher. Yes, they said, oh, that's nice, or something like that. I don't even remember what it was, but I remember the person and I remember the feeling. And I think this is still doing its work. So, you as people who hear this, who read this, because it might show up as subtitles on YouTube later. I will put this on YouTube, by the way. I have a channel for all the Q&As, so you will find this with links and subtitles this weekend. Where was I? I lost my train of thought. Yes, so we have responsibility to use our words carefully. Yes, a little positive thing can go a long way. So giving someone a compliment, even though you're shy, can do a lot of good. So make affirmations for yourself, but also spread the love. Yes, so that's my mission for you, my assignment. Give people compliments if you feel them, if they feel true. You don't have to, you don't have to lie, but if you feel something pop up, don't hold back. Don't think about what they will think. Yes, pop it out there and leave it out there. You don't have to make a big thing out of it. Just leave a little ping of positivity, or write something positive, or like someone's post. Write something from the heart, something small, and they will feel it, they will know it, and they might carry it far. And as a teacher, if you're a dance teacher or want to be a dance teacher, this is extra important. Or maybe even just a teacher, a school teacher. You and your state of mind, take care of it. Take care of yourself, because if you feel better, what you give to the people around you will have more of the positivity, and this will spread in the world. Yes, so you have a lot of power as a teacher, as a person who comes in contact with other teachers, even through a screen. You can do a lot of good. Do it. Don't let this opportunity pass by and not do it. Why hold back? Yes, hold back on the negative thoughts, because they may come from somewhere else. Yes, it may be projection. I notice it for me. If I want to go off on someone, usually what irritates me is something about myself, or something that someone is doing that I am not allowing myself to do, or something. Yes, something like this. It usually comes, if it's not positive, from somewhere within. And when something positive comes out, that resonates, spreads. So be careful with your words. Use the positive ones freely, and analyze and observe the less positive ones, and work with whatever information comes out of that. Okay, back to affirmations. I have something for you. I have a gift for you, for those who see this. My first experience with affirmations, I know this is mirrored, but I have a printable set of 6 affirmations that I made as part of a project with Kyria of the Netherlands, which I think many of you may know, and a bunch of other beautiful dancers. Kyria contacted me and she asked me, do you want to make positive dancer affirmations that they can print, that people can read and print and have with them for inspiration, and then use them? And I thought, sure, I will do that, but I didn't know what affirmations were. This was new to me. So thanks to Kyria, I started thinking of if I had affirmation cards, something to remind me, something to put in my pocket and take out that will give me like this positive little input. So affirmation is input you give yourself. Yes, so even if nothing comes from here, if you write it down once and you print it, you have it. Or if you write it down daily, you make it stronger. Or if you focus on it daily in meditation, you reinforce it. And reinforcing it, oh my God, fleeting thoughts can already influence you. Imagine what a thought that is burned in there, that you want to be in there, can do. Yes, it can give you superpowers. It's true. It's true. But you have to believe it. So make it something. Maybe begin with something crazy, something you may not really believe yet, but something you want to be true. Yes, so you don't have to be held back by what you currently believe is true. If you write down affirmations, maybe you can make 6, like this. Make 6 affirmations for yourself. It can be dance, it can be life, it can be anything. And don't filter it. Yes, write down anything you wish could be an affirmation. I don't want to influence you too much, but are you curious to know the ones that I have? I bet you are. I'm going to read them anyway. So, the affirmations that I wrote for the project of Kyria, which I'll add the link to so you can print these. They have little dance pictures on them also. First one is, I find joy in creating beauty. And that one went really deep because as a little one, I know I'm not very tall now, but when I was even smaller, I used to like drawing and just making little pictures. And one of my sisters told me, wow, that's nice. And I don't even remember which sister. I have a sister who paints. It's Sylvie. She makes beautiful art. Let me add her name. Or her art name is Wolf's Art. I don't know if that works. But yes, she makes beautiful things. Things and paintings. She's very creative. And she told me, I looked up to her because I knew she could draw nice. She told me, oh, that's nice. And I thought, wow, it brought me joy to create something that I liked it, but I didn't know anyone else liked it. I knew that I liked to create something that I would find beautiful and maybe others too. So that's still what I do in dancing. I envision, like I was saying yesterday in our dance Q&A. By the way, check it out in Kalida Online. We have a Q&A of an hour about tips for improvisation and choreography. And it also speaks about using an image, visualizing, thinking about what you would find beautiful and making that. It's like the joke of Michelangelo creating a lion from marble. And someone asked him, how do you do it? And he said, I just remove what is not the lion. So, yes, you have it in you. You just need to practice it. Finding joy in creating beauty. That's what I do on stage. I have something in my mind that I think would be beautiful. And then I try to make the dance meet it. And this can be improvised or it can be decided beforehand. But I always have something, an image of, I want to make beautiful things. Not everyone wants. Some people make art to provoke. Some people make art to make you feel certain things, and it doesn't have to be love or awe. But for me personally, beauty is important. I want to make the world, or at least a little corner of it, a tiny bit more beautiful because that makes me happy. And I think it always has. So that's my personal one. I find joy in creating beauty. You think, for your affirmation, what do you find joy in? So if you don't know what for affirmations, what kind of affirmations, that can be like a hint or a prompt. Second one, by practicing my art, I honor myself and inspire others. Okay, so this was a big one. I had resistance against practice because I was afraid it wasn't good enough. The things I was doing weren't worthy. And that can be at any level. If you're a beginner dancer, you have the best chances of just dancing because you don't know yet what you don't know yet. So you're free. Like a child, you just do, you just make, you just express until you're being told like no. But before that, if you can think back, if you can remember to very early when you were feeling the most free, when did you feel most free? In that area, that's where your affirmations live. So go back to all the way then, and what are the things that felt true then? Those may be things to write down. One of those things that I wrote down that I didn't quite believe or that I had resistance against was, by practicing my art, I honor myself and inspire others. I needed motivation to practice. I needed to get out of the trap of I'm not good enough, so I won't practice, because if I practice and it's not what I want it to be, so my ego was kind of in the way. If it's not as great as I want it to be, what's the use? Or if I practice now and I notice it's not as good as I want it to be, it doesn't feel nice. So I was afraid of being bad. I was afraid of not being good enough for whoever was in my mind telling me. Yes, so there was some judgment happening, even though I wasn't doing anything. And it was just holding me back from practicing the things that I love. For instance, ballet. I started ballet as an adult, so of course it's not easy. So of course it's not natural. And I was very judgy to myself about that. Not in the beginning. The first year, learning curve was like this. I was happy, but then when the plateau happened, I got frustrated and I started comparing myself to others. So if you're comparing yourself to others and are thinking, what's the use of practice? This affirmation might be for you. Because if you do practice, it's for you. You honor yourself. You give yourself the opportunity to grow. If you don't practice, then you don't. Yes, only if you do things, you will get better. And this can be speaking, this can be teaching, this can be dancing, this can be learning, this can be drawing, this can be any kind of art, any kind of skill. Yes, cooking, anything. When you do it, it becomes better because you learn as you do. We are made to learn. We are made to learn. So do whatever. Don't get stuck on, I'm at this level and I should know this. Just do things and learn. And you might inspire others. The second part, because it was not enough to honor myself, I was still in the zone where it was very important for me to be liked by others. Or I was very aware of what others thought of me. And I'm letting this go bit by bit as I age. Maybe it's because of getting older. It's more comfortable, I have to say. You feel more free. And I think maybe this is also something to practice. Practice just doing and letting other people's judgments and letting your people's judgment, your own judgment, wait for it until you're finished doing the thing you want to do. You might inspire others to also try, to also practice, to also do your best. Because that's what it's about. If you don't do your best, you cannot be judged at the level you really are. So you're hiding yourself. You're hiding your potential, and with this, you're keeping yourself small. If you just go for it, if you just practice, if you just do your best without judgment, if you just improve to learn because it makes you happy, yes? That true happiness that came from learning things, from figuring things out, that can inspire others. So it's not just you. If that's not enough, do your best for others. You might get, haters. You might get haters. I cannot guarantee that everyone will react in a positive way. If you go for it, if you follow your dreams, you may have reactions from people, even people closer to you or people you thought you knew, that they get uncomfortable. Yes, if you change. But that's okay. Yes, we all are in constant evolution. So just change and people will deal with it. They will deal with it, and you might secretly inspire even the ones that are not comfortable with it at first. Yes, give them time. Give them time. Okay. Third of 6, affirmation. I am open to positive change. Yes. So I noticed that change is a big thing and change can be uncomfortable. By writing down and having on a card, I am open to positive change, that was kind of comforting. I didn't have to think it anymore because I could write it out or I had it as a card. And being open to positive change, that's good, yes? Because then whatever comes, you can translate it into positive change. Even if something unexpected happens and you get stuck, like I was this last year. For instance, like many people, I had 3 events coming up. It was Dancecapade in May in Greece with Boženka. We had Movespiration last summer with my favorite teachers, Master Che, Grandmaster Che, my martial arts teacher, and Constanze, my ballet teacher, and Julia, my points and contemporary teacher. And we had people coming out from different countries. They signed up for both events. It was all going well and I was so looking forward to it. I had written down at the beginning of the year, I want to enjoy these events and enjoy the preparations for it, not stress about it, but just have fun and learn from it. And then what happened? Corona. So all the things that I looked forward to throughout the year. There was a 3rd event, by the way, a mix of Movespiration and Dancecapade. So Movespiration in Crete in October. We already had signups for that. So all of it was gone. It was gone. And all the events that I was going to teach at, I had a few requests, and I don't always get requests. I am not always busy. It looks maybe like it, but it's not true. I have to wait for people to book me. And usually I just post pictures or videos in between in the waiting time, just to stay in the zone of dancing. But if I don't get booked, I don't have work, I don't have income. And if I don't have income for German taxes, if you don't have income for too long, you are disallowed of being a dancer business. So then I cannot do events. So I had financial pressure, fiscal pressure from the German state to earn money with dance, to even make a profit with dance. Even little profit would be enough in order to be able to keep teaching, to keep doing events, or to keep hosting people, the things that I loved. So these opportunities were gone, but the pressure was still there. So I had to do something. And for me, the something was teaching online. Even though it was uncomfortable, I was afraid. I was afraid to go live for the first time in April last year, I think, almost a year ago. And it developed into something over time. It was a bit messy at first. I didn't know what to teach, so I just taught whatever came up, silly things, or I asked people, what do you want to learn? And we did daily videos, then weekly videos, and I had so many things on my phone that it was full. I had to learn how to edit, I had to learn how to process things, and I had to learn how to communicate via video and not be too judgy of the misspeakings that I do, or getting stuck in my thoughts, or just wandering off like now in speaking. So anyway, I had to learn a lot of things, technology, a lot of things, and maybe I will do a Q&A on teaching online in the Khalida Online, because for other online teachers who did not have to do it but want to do it, may be good, because I had to learn really fast, really intensely, because I needed to get going. I needed to get started with teaching online now. So I did not have the luxury of time, and not having the luxury of time was good for me because of this restriction. And because I had no time to judge myself, I just had to do it. I had to learn, even though I was not doing everything correctly. I didn't have any backgrounds, I didn't have any lights, I didn't have any 5-minute makeup routines. I didn't know what to wear. It was all new. So you learn by doing if you have to. And that was a lesson for me. That was a lesson for me. I'm open to positive change, and I know I will learn if I have to. And this is very comforting, knowing that you can adapt to change if you must. You don't have to do this to yourself, but if you must, knowing that you can, for instance, also living alone. I always lived with my parents, and then from there straight living with my boyfriend. And then what happened was he had someone else. So I had invested all my thoughts, all my plans were together with this dude. And I invested all my money in our house that we built together. And then house was ready, my life was settled. I was still young, but my life was settled at 22. You realize, oh, I cannot stay. So I had to, for the first time in my life, live alone and figure that out, rent a home. And it worked. It worked out. Thankfully, I had a job. But I learned it only because I had to. And if we have to, there's a lot of potential, untapped. Yes, there's a lot of potential in all of us, and I know it. It only comes out when we make it so. And you don't have to do everything. You don't have to put pressure on yourself. But it's good to know that if you need to, you can. You can learn, you can adapt, and do more than you think is possible. Affirmations will help. Okay, that was number 3. I'm open to positive change. Number 4, dance, art, and music feed my soul. By the way, if this resonates with you, let me know. Are these kinds of affirmations things that would be helpful for you too? Let me know the ones that you write down, by the way. If you want to share, write in the comments the affirmations you used for yourself before I give you the next 3. So you have something to write as well as listen. I would be very interested to know your affirmations, because I can learn from what people do as well. So let me know your affirmations. I got shy asking this. Okay, dance, art, and music feed my soul. Affirmation number 4. This I wrote because it felt true. If I need something to lift me up, it's the people that I love, but also just listening to music that speaks to me. And this doesn't have to be Arabic music. It can be any kind of music. Yes, classical, modern, something that brings me joy, or something that gives me goosebumps. Sometimes just hearing one tone of a violin makes the hairs on my arm stand up. Yes, and this can also happen with something visual. Sometimes I see a picture of maybe a dancer, or a picture of nature, or maybe I'm in nature and I see nature as art, or how the light hits a leaf, or how the snow glistens. Anything visual can do the same for me. It can wake me up in a strange way, yes? Wake something up in me and unleash emotions and get me in a certain state of awe. As if you're realizing you're on a planet. Yes. And music, art, and dance. So the third thing on this little list, there's more, but those 3 were what I wrote at the time. This is, I think, 10 years ago. Yeah, so thank you, Kyria. Dance also feeds my soul. If I dance, thank you, I will read it in a moment. If I dance, something comes out that wasn't there before. It wakes something up. So anything that wakes something up, those are the things that feed your soul. Think about what feeds your soul. Write that down. It's good to know and it's good to have a reminder of it. So let me see your affirmation. Ik ben precies goed zoals ik ben. I am exactly right as I am. Exactly right as I am. Exactly. Yes, this is true because what you are now, you may not even realize it, but what you are now is in potential, everything. Yes, you are not your limitations. You are not your body. You are not your thoughts. You are something. You are all of those and more. Right now. Yes, you don't need to change anything. It's already in there. So you have it in you. I'll read the next one after reading this one, so we can switch between. Thank you, Helene, for sharing your affirmations. I like it. So the fifth of six, I'm trying to time them, so we have about an hour, was, I like this picture, it's by Philippe, of our photographer of Dance for Children, the charity or solidarity team I am part of. I have the courage to follow my heart. And this card, funny thing is, if you print those cards and put them in your home, they will fall out of your pocket when you need them. So that's why I recommend printing affirmations. Have them in your house. I plastified them. I bought I don't know what's that called, a laminator. I bought a laminator and I laminated these, and they kept popping up whenever I needed to read, to hear, to feel what was in them. And this one kept popping up. The one that says, I have the courage to follow my heart. And that's the theme for me this week, by the way. In my Instagram, I've been writing about heart. It's been on my heart has been on my mind. And I didn't even remember that this was here, but it's the one that I read the most. Having the courage to follow your heart means, indeed, just going for it. Do things before you are ready. Because if you needed to do them, if you had no choice and you did them, the heaven would not fall on your head, as they say in Belgium. Yes, just go for it. You're not hurting anyone by being creative. You just might be a bit uncomfortable. You might feel judged. You might be judged, but that's okay. That's okay. You will still learn something, and that's what we are here for. Yes, we're here to learn. We're here to do good things. We're here to leave this place, hopefully not worse than we found it, even though as a human race, we're kind of doing the opposite. Let's balance it out. Oh, I love these affirmations. Okay, the next one I'm reading from you. Either I win or I learn. Yes, that goes very well with this fifth affirmation. You will win anyway. Learning is winning too. Learning is super valuable. When you learn something, or you affirm something, you can use this for everything. It changes everything. It's like when you realize you have been doing a move for Taekwondo, for instance. I had been doing kicks in the way that I thought it was correct. And our teacher, Grandmaster Che, gives us corrections bit by bit. He sees something, he says, great. And then you're like, whoa, it motivates you to keep practicing. And then he comes with a little tweak and you think, oh, mind blown. I have to now rethink everything. And you do. All the forms you already knew, you relearn them with this new bit of information. And it's like a new world opens. You are seeing other things with this new bit of information added into your glasses. So your vision has widened. There's a new color you can see, for instance. And it changes everything. Everything you learn is like this. Okay. I'm going to read one of you's again. In YouTube, they will not be visible, so I have to read them out loud. It's Dutch. Ik kan mezelf volledig goedkeuren voor wie ik ben en wat ik doe. Okay, this one is related. I can approve myself completely for who I am and what I do. Yes, those two things, who you are and what you do. Sometimes you do things that are not really you because of outside pressures or inside pressures. But don't judge it. We are all here to learn. Yes, even people who do you harm, they, if they could do better, they would. Yes, if they felt better, they would be nicer. So that's how I comfort myself. If someone's not nice to me, I think if they felt better, if they felt safe, if they felt comforted, if they felt happy, they would not do or say this. So anything you do, it's okay as long as you keep learning. Stay open for change. And then whatever is now is totally fine. Thank you. Okay. I'm reading the final one and then I'm going to go into yours, Gary and Helen. Thank you for sharing these, by the way. I love that we have a bit of interaction. Okay, the last one that I have on my printable list is, I find, it's a nature picture. I find happiness and inspiration in expressing myself honestly. Okay, I didn't know where that one came from. I find happiness and inspiration in expressing myself honestly. And that's a little bit about improvisation, for instance, or just speaking before you think. That used to be a flaw of mine when I was little. A nickname my parents had for me was Bubblecows, talking sock, if you translate it literally. I was always asking questions. I was always sharing. I was always singing, dancing, expressing. I was a very active child. I'm a very active adult also. So I find happiness and inspiration in expressing myself honestly. Sometimes by doing things, you can get inspiration. If you hold back, if you don't draw from your inner well, this I have from a book, you have to draw from your well to keep the water fresh. Yes, if you don't use your inspiration, they get blocked. You have to use your inspiration, or use your inspiration wherever it comes from. Sometimes I feel it comes from outside of me and I'm just conducting. So wherever the inspiration comes, grab it, make something of it and share it. So it flows through you. Don't hold it back. Don't resist it, and don't hold it in you as well. Yes? Make something and then make something else and then make something else. Or make something and then tweak it and work with it. Yes, but do the first draft. The first draft of anything is never the way you really want it to be. If you want to write a poem, how I write poems is I write down the things that pop up first, and then it's like a puzzle. I shift the sentences, then I change the wording. That's how I blog also. I write first, then I edit. And through the editing, I get inspired. So don't be afraid to first make, then judge, then play. Your expression can be the thing that inspires you back. It also inspires others, but it can be a loop of inspiration. But to do that, you have to be brave, like one of the other affirmations. You have to be brave first and make that first thing. Do that first dance. Yes, film that first version. Do that first practice session. Then you will get inspired. Don't wait for the inspiration. It's already there. It's waiting for you to do the thing. It's like we are a radio. The radio waves are all around us. They're inside, they're outside. But only when you tune into them, you can do this meditation or by creating or by writing. Once you do that, once you do the action, then you will see, read, or you will be amazed at what comes out. Maybe you won't like it, but that will be information and that will inspire you. So that's my last one. Now I'll come to your affirmations. First, I'll read them all. I find joy in creating beauty. By practicing my art, I honor myself and inspire others. I am open to positive change. Dance, art, and music feed my soul. I have the courage to follow my heart, wherever it may take me. Yes. And I find happiness and inspiration in expressing myself honestly. So not the filter of what other people might like more. Just do. Okay, let me now read. Thank you for being here, by the way. Let me now read your affirmations. Keep writing them, by the way. If you see this in YouTube or later, write them down for me. I would enjoy. Gary, delen is healing. Sharing is healing. Yes, it's like expressing, getting it out, releases the stuckness within. It's like movement releases the tensions. Yes, movement in art or in expression, expression is to the soul what movement is to the body. I would say. Thank you, Gary. Shoot for the moon and you'll land among the stars. Yes, that's something Bruce Lee would say also. If you aim high, at least you're jumping, yes? If you aim low, all that can happen is that you go lower than that. The higher you aim, the more you can do. So make your affirmations limitless. Set your goals so high that you cannot reach them. But don't get stuck up on having to reach them. Set them so high that you're aiming high and you're directing yourself high. Give yourself something big to work at, but do the work in little steps. Yes. Also, allow yourself to change your goal. It's only a guideline. It's not an end point. If you reach any of your goals, they were too low. And I know it's good to celebrate success. It's good to celebrate happiness, joy. But the joy gradually will become more fluid. It will become more in the learning itself. At first, yes, give yourself the snacks of celebration. But after a while, start celebrating the in-between reaching points. And then later, you're just celebrating all the time. That's what it's all about. Because every moment is valuable. Yes, shoot for the moon and you'll land among the stars. I love it. Okay, let's read on. Ik ben mijn eigen beste vriendin en volg haar advies op. I am my own best friend and I follow her advice. Yes, I like giving people advice. I am not so good at taking my own advice. So my husband knows this. We're both the same. We're always giving each other the advice that we need to hear, and it's easier to take it from someone else than from ourselves. Sometimes I find myself teaching things and then I think, ooh, now I have to do it. So I make myself do the things I teach because otherwise I feel like a hypocrite. But it's easier. It's easier to take advice from someone else. So be your own friend. Speak to yourself as if you would speak to a friend. Yes. I will talk at the end of this mini session. I will give you some guidelines on how to do affirmations. If you're not sure, the 3 ways you can do it is coming up after I read these. Okay. From safety and connection, I am zelfstandig. Zelfstandig. Independent. Okay. Safety and connection create independence. Yes. If you can find safety in yourself, you will have a more honest way to connect. You will not feel dependent on appreciation or dependent on goedkeuring. Approval. If you let go of approval and just speak from the heart, you will have independence. You will no longer be dependent on the outcome. So you can freely express. It will free you up. I can say what I think, feel and experience what I need. Yes, you can freely express and you can freely experience. All of life comes to me with ease, joy and grace. Yes, and that's as soon as you let go of resistance. Yes, our biggest hurdle is usually ourselves. We want to protect ourselves, which is totally logical, is totally understandable, that we want to be safe. If you give yourself safety, then change may happen. So do that in whatever way is possible. I'm the best version of myself. Yes, we all are. We're all okay. Yes. We don't have to prove anything. You don't have to prove anything. Learn for the joy of learning. Improve for the joy of developing. But don't... there is no ending. Yes, you can forget about achieving anything. That sounded a bit weird maybe. But yes, if you forget about having to achieve, I will be okay if, I will be happy if, I will be successful if. If you let go of all these ifs and just live honestly and just learn to learn and just improve to improve. Set goals, but don't make them your judging point of good or bad. Set goals to keep you moving. Yes. Thank you for the inspiration. I listen to my body, spirit and soul, or body, mind and soul. Yes, body, mind and soul, it's all the same. It's all from the same source. The thing that animates us, that makes us alive, that makes us create things, it all goes together. We cannot really feel free without our bodies. I think our bodies do something. Our minds are part of our bodies to express the soul. Yes, we're like a soul machine. That's how I think of it. We carry our soul around. We carry something around that's alive and that is powerful. But we need to take care of our home, our bodies. We need to take care of our minds. And you do that with affirmation. Hi, Karen. And you do that with affirmations. So let's go about the doing. Actionable steps. How can you apply affirmations in your life? What can you do with them? And how to do them? First, get yourself a notebook or a piece of paper. We will start with the easiest way. The easiest way is to write. The second easiest way is to not write, but write and print. And the third, maybe a trickier one, but it's something that you can carry with you, is to think them. But first, if you're a beginner affirmator, start with writing. I learned this writing affirmations from a podcast by Bruce Lee's daughter, and I will link to it. They had 3 sessions to listen to using Bruce Lee's philosophy. He was a philosopher and a student of life. He became so good in what he does because he enjoyed the journey of learning, of improving, figuring things out, experimenting and expressing. So Bruce Lee is someone to learn from, even now. He is one of my heroes in this regard, spiritually even. So the podcast by his daughter, Shannon Lee, has a few sessions on affirmations, and I use them literally. That was my foray into them. She had 3 prompts. I forgot which one they were, but I add the link. One of them was, I would feel happier, or my body would thank me if I... ... My body would thank me if I... And you write something after that. And then you choose one for you. Something you want to be true. Something that you want to be true. It doesn't have to be true yet. So those 2. My body would thank me if, or would be thankful if, and the other one, write something that you want to be true. Write this every day. Maybe write it 5 times, both of them. Write them both 5 times. Do that daily, and after a week, check how you feel. Yes, you can add 3 affirmations. You can choose another one. So let's do that. 3 affirmations, write them down. Don't filter them. You can always add more, but 3 minimum. One of them is, my body would be thankful if I. One of them is something you want to be true, and one of them you choose. Write those, repeat them 5 times. The act of writing will burn it into your mind, and do that every day, once every day. After a week, next week, Wednesday, let me know. Let me know what your affirmations were and how it worked for you. So that's my home assignment. The second way you can do it, that's less personal, but you can print my affirmations. That's extra, that's bonus. Put them somewhere, and or put them in your pocket, and whichever one, it's like tarot cards. Whichever one you need to read, that one will pop up. I'll add the link there also. And the third thing you can do next to those, but do the writing first, that's the most powerful one. When you meditate, think of one of those affirmations and reinforce it when you're doing nothing else, so just with your mind. But when you start, write them down. Okay, that's my homework assignment. I'm very curious to know how you do your affirmations. Do you write them? Do you think them? Do you print them? How do your affirmations work? Okay, let me see. Suffering from the past and worries about the future, I let go. Yes, just what's in the past has been, is done. You can learn from it, but you cannot change it. You can just learn from it and let go. Maybe process it and let go. What's now? That's where the interesting bits happen. What's in the future? It may change depending on what you do now. So no need to worry about it. It may be different. A lot of our time is spent worrying about things that will never happen. Who could have thought that we will be in the situation that we are now? But who could have thought that there's also positives to be found in every day? Yes, give them to yourself. All I need is inside, is within. Also true. That's something we already touched on, you have all this potential inside you. It's just a matter of getting going with it, and affirmation is a great way to start. So before we go into other ways of cross-training, other ways of training your body and mind, because that's what this cross-training is for, we are going to, in the next weeks, go into different aspects of my sources. So how I inspire myself mentally, spiritually, physically. What are the things that keep me going? What is my cross-training? What do I put underneath the skills that I like to practice, just to practice them? So what I do is belly dance. That's like, that was my entry drug into movement. But I also started doing ballet to improve my belly dancing. But then I started loving ballet. Then I started doing different kinds of movement. Then I started doing martial arts, and that inspired me to try points, something I thought was impossible in ballet. And that inspired me to take more classes with the same teacher, and that's contemporary, something I thought I was too old for at 40 to learn contemporary with rolling on the floor. And now it's all kind of coming together. But to make everything work, I do different types of cross-training, and that's strengthening my body, keeping myself flexible with movement. And that's what we do in Boost. But underneath that, I also train my mind. I also train my thoughts, and I train my spirit. I try to give freely, like I'm doing now, because it feels important. It feels urgent in these times to be generous, yes? And I hope it inspires you to be the same. Whatever we keep, whatever we hold is just not getting used. It's just getting stale. Our life is so short, we cannot even do all the things we want to do. Even if we started now and kept creating, kept expressing, our life will be too short. Even if we wanted to learn all the things and we started now, our life will be too short. Even to do good, to spend time with our loved ones, if we want to start doing that, our life will feel too short. So those important things, give them priority. Yes, take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones from the inside out, and just express. Life is too short to worry about the unimportant things. Yes, reprioritize. Use this pandemic, use this dire situation to realize and prioritize those things that are important. And maybe affirmations will help with that. Next week, we will have a different topic. I still have to think about which one. There's so many to choose from. But it will be something between this and physical. Yes, I want to work from the mind, the body, the soul, also to physical things. Because there's different topics we can use. We can use to free up creativity. Because that's what it's about. I will also speak in one of the future ones about blogging. How the blog, where we are now, Joy of Movement blog, came to be. The affirmations, by the way, from Kyria, they were the seed of this blog. Before I had this blog, this affirmation thing, I had a different blog, a dance blog. And it's quite big, but I abandoned it to go further into Joy of Movement. I let go of dance a bit to dive into the other things. And that's what's happening now. That's how Joy of Movement was born. It was from letting go of dance and diving into something unknown, and all that came out is what we will be doing in these Q&As. So I hope this was I hope this was useful. I hope this was valuable, maybe even interesting. I thought it was very fascinating to see your affirmations, and let me know how you use them, and do the homework if affirmations are new for you, or if you want to get back into it. 3 affirmations: body, mind, and soul. Write each of them 5 times. Once per day, and let me know next week how it goes. Okay, that's it from me for now. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you soon. See you next Thursday. Bye-bye.